What's up, everybody? How you doing? Take your ass home, Kevin Durant. Take your ass home, Kevin Durant. What's going on, everybody? My name is Marc, and welcome to the Farzy Show here at the Steven Singer Studios. Nice to have you along. Sixers take care of business against the Nets. The Flyers at least continue their point streak, so there's that. That's fun, right? And the Philadelphia Eagles are back in action this Sunday, 1 o'clock in D.C., Landover, Maryland, more appropriately, against the Washington football team. So that's all fun, we hope. And John Bartram will join the show today. John, an old friend of mine from the radio business, used to do a podcast called Go Birds Podcast, covers the Eagles still, does his own podcast now, actually helps people set up their own podcasts, and he's just a great guy, knows the Birds inside and out, so we're going to break all things down regarding the Eagles with John Barchard coming up. But we're going to start off today with this little message. Folks, I see some people in the chat already. Have a drink ready by the end of the show. It is New Year's after all. You guys hopefully going to have some fun tonight. You're going to be out there. You're going to be inside your home maybe. Whatever you're going to be doing, hopefully you're going to be ringing in the new year with some fun, with some smiles, and with some people that you love. Or if you don't love them, at least you love being around them. I don't know. But anyway, have a drink ready by the end of the show. We'll send you off a little bit of a toast. Let's start it off with those 10-9-8 76ers as they get a nice win last night over the Nets. One of the biggest wins of the season, if not their biggest win of the season to this point, especially on the heels of more Ben Simmons news that came out yesterday afternoon, courtesy of John Hollinger from The Athletic, which we will get to. But I don't want to let that rain on anybody's parade because I want to focus on the actual game that took place last night. I felt, as great as Joel Embiid did, and waving Kevin Durant off the court, and if you didn't see that, it's all over the interweb. You will love it. Kevin Durant and Joel Embiid at the very end of the game started jawing a little bit, and once the final horn sounded, Joel Embiid turns around in Brooklyn and starts looking at Kevin Durant and the Nets and saying, "Go home. Go home, go home." Just like, yeah. And he's like, it was something interesting about it. Like, we've seen Joel Embiid pissed off. We've seen Joel Embiid angry. This wasn't of that note. This was more in the understanding of, like, there was some kind of fun involved. And when people started trying to pull Joel Embiid away, I was like, I don't think this is really that serious. I think Tobias Harris went up to Joel Embiid, or he did go up to Joel Embiid, but I think he did it in the tone of, hey, man, let's not do this. Come on, we just beat them. Let's not get them more angry for next time. And I think Joel Embiid's response was, no, man, I'm just having fun. And that's kind of how it went down. He high-fives LaMarcus Aldridge. After the game, there's mutual respect exchanged between Kevin Durant and Joel Embiid. Not so much Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, but we'll get to that. So it was an interesting way to end that game. But most notably, before we even get into all that with Joel, last night I felt like was Tyrese Maxey's coming out party. That man stepped up something awesome. After a really rough night of shooting against the Toronto Raptors, he went out and took care of business last night, including 5 for 8 from beyond the arc. Tyrese Maxey, 25 points against the Brooklyn Nets, and had a huge corner three-pointer in the fourth quarter to help the Sixers pull out this victory. It was one of 3 three-point plays, I'll say, to help the Sixers solidify that victory over the Nets. Tyrese Maxey had a corner three. Joel Embiid had a three-point play where he got the and one. And then he saw a three-pointer from Seth Curry to help round out this basketball game. And the Sixers were able to take control from that point on. And even Kevin Durant in his post-game press conference, you'll hear him, he did say that the Sixers just took control of the game and there's nothing really they could do in that fourth quarter. And Kevin Durant was the one really knocking down those shots in the fourth quarter to keep the Nets in the game. But the Sixers were down late in this game. They ended up coming back and obviously taking care of business. Now, Joel Embiid, I'll tell you right out of the gate, usually I save this for a little bit later in the show, but Joel Embiid's over-under last night was 26.5. I could not have jumped on that faster. Big game against the Nets in Brooklyn. I felt like he was just going to have a special type of performance, and that's exactly what he did last night. It's funny. You watch him play. I believe he only had 2 turnovers last night. He hit a couple of threes. Only had maybe 5 rebounds in last night's game. But every time you needed a play, he was there. He had 16 points at halftime, for crying out loud. If he did it, I believe he had 16 points in the first quarter, as a matter of fact. So I felt, oh, well, he's got this. I don't know. It was in around the same time I was putting my daughter to bed, so I was losing track of time. But overall, he was just dominant last night. And the guy that continues to be a thorn in the side of this Sixers team is Tobias Harris. 3 separate occasions he drives to the lane in the first quarter and fails to convert for points. 3 separate times. I'm almost tired of talking about the fact that he's a max player, because it comes up short of that max player money, it seems, night in and night out. And I proposed an idea weeks ago about maybe you just sit him down, maybe you give him a break. You don't bench him by any means, but you say, Tobias, you're still not yourself. As of 2 weeks ago, you were still talking about how you still feel like you have symptoms. So take a break. Step away for a minute. When he did step away for a couple of days, he actually came back and actually had a great game, one of his better games, as a matter of fact, on the season. So maybe that's more along the lines of what the Sixers should be doing with Tobias Harris. Now, when it comes to everything else, and it comes to what's going on with Tyrese Maxey, I only see this kid mature. And the fact that he bounced back from that really rough night in Toronto to play this game against this team shows you that this kid is ready to take that next step, if he hasn't taken that next step already. And seeing the chemistry both on the court and off the court between him and Joel Embiid makes you feel a lot better about the immediate future of this 76ers team. We'll get to that in just a second. But beyond just Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. But in case you missed it, and I didn't play it on this show, shame on me for that. When you saw Embiid and Maxey after Toronto, if you didn't see it yet, I want you to see it now because it sets up what happened last night after the Nets game. But here is Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid after Maxey had a really rough night against the Toronto Raptors.
What's the leave on?
Tyrese, you were trash 4-11.
Let's talk about last time you were here.
I know, you look like me like 2 years ago when I was 0 points.
And that was a time that we all would like to forget about Joel Embiid. He hasn't obviously forgotten it. So he's shaming Tyrese Maxey for 2 for 11. You a trash tonight. That wasn't the case last night after the game. Here's part 2 of Embiid and Maxey.
There we go.
Yo, you see what happened when you freaking shoot threes?
Come on, man. Come on, man. Floor is mine? Oh, okay. Mr. Embiid. Now, today, last time out, I think I shot 11 shots. I probably missed 10. So today, let's see. Oh, I shot the 3.
You went great.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I appreciate it.
That's how you respond to criticism.
Oh, man. I told you I got you.
That's how you respond to criticism. That right there, that was dead. I was watching that last night. I was dying watching those two go back and forth. I need more of that because of all the stuff that has surrounded the Sixers this season and not having Ben Simmons and whether or not they're going to be able to reach their full potential. All of that is a negative cloud over the Sixers season. But to see Joel Embiid playing the way he plays, to see Tyrese Maxey getting along with him on and off the court the way he is, to see almost Joel Embiid putting his arm around this guy, to be encouraging this guy, to have fun with this guy, like it shows you what could be for the Sixers if they do in fact end up making a deal, trading Ben Simmons, and what they could bring back. How much better this team could, because I believe Tyrese Maxey could be considered to be that number 2. He's already the number 2 guy, statistically speaking, like factually speaking right here. He has already gotten between Tobias Harris and Joel Embiid. I talked yesterday about how whoever comes in here, I want him to be in between that range of Tobias Harris and Joel Embiid. To hell with that. Now I want him to be between that range of Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. So maybe Tobias is down here, Maxey's up here, Joel's way up here. Give me somebody in between them. Give me somebody between those two, Maxey and Embiid, and see how good the 76ers team could be. Because they played their best game of the season last night, I felt, on the road, and they even talked some crap afterwards. I told you Joel Embiid was telling Kevin Durant, go home. Durant was asked about it after the game, and here's what he said.
Kevin, you going against Joel a lot of years. Did anything he say tonight cross any line at all?
Nah, hell no. He ain't really say nothing. I think I just was turned up, just trying to, no matter what, we down 8-10, they got the game in control. So, still let them know we still here, I guess. So, nah, he ain't say nothing across the line. We all respect each other out there. We respect this team. I respect all the players on this team and vice versa. So it's just how we play.
Everybody loves everybody. That's very nice. Joel did say after the game that he looks at Kevin Durant as, if there's one player that's better than me in the NBA, it's Kevin Durant. And I think that's about the highest compliment you could get from a one Joel, Hans, and Embiid. And you know what? As I go full name there, I like Kate Scott. I think she's doing a fine job. Also, side note, we hope to get Marc Zumoff on the program in the not-too-distant future. Marc's got something going on that he wants to talk about. How do you not want to talk to Marc Zumoff anyway? I just want to talk to the guy all the time. Ala Abdelnaby is also not there, friend of the show. And Mark Jackson, from the way I understand it, has just been kind of thrown into the mix here as the Sixers color analyst all of a sudden. I think Mark Jackson has done a phenomenal job filling in for Ala Abdelnaby. I think he's done a great job, especially considering the circumstances. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, I'm doing this tonight? Okay. Like, I think he's done a great job. And we had Tom McGinnis on the program, not on the program, but on the broadcast last night for the game. And Tom, I think it does a phenomenal job of going from radio to TV, which might sound like it's an easy thing, but if you think about it, all the description you have to give on radio, because you're literally painting the picture for people, and then going to TV and knowing to dial that description back, and the excitement stays the same level. Absolutely unreal. I think the guys did a phenomenal job last night, and they've been really throughout the season. Tom McGinnis, whenever he's filled in for Kate Scott, and also Mark Jackson filling in the last couple of days. Pretty awesome stuff from those guys. So that was all fun about the Sixers. Now let's talk about everyone's most hated subject, Ben Simmons, who, once again, in case you missed it, Clutch Sports is trying to get into the All-Star game. All right. Or at least get him All-Star votes, drum those up for him. All right. If they can do that, they should be some people's campaign managers for actual elections. Anyway, Joel Embiid, that was fun. Tyrese Maxey, that was fun. Now for the Ben Simmons news. Here it is from The Athletic, John Hollinger. Check this out. This is from a story that came out yesterday afternoon. So before they beat the Nets last night. Despite the Sixers' bluster to the contrary, the consensus around the league remains that Philadelphia is more likely to act at the trade deadline than carry this all the way through till next summer, so as to avoid punting on a year of Joel Embiid's prime. The counter argument is that the Sixers, as presently constituted, have been unimpressive enough that it might not hurt much to wait. That last line I don't really understand too much, but I think he gets it. I think what he's saying is they're going to make the deal at the deadline. He talked to a whole bunch of GMs around the NBA, and that's the way those GMs feel. I don't know whether or not, and he doesn't state in his story whether or not one of those people was Daryl Morey that he talked to, but I would assume that most GMs, regardless of what they've said or what they've talked about with Daryl Morey, would want it out there that the Sixers are going to make a move at the deadline. Like, and even if I'm a rival GM, and not even a rival, if I'm just another GM in the NBA, I'm looking at the Sixers right now like, there's no way they hold on to him and waste a prime of Joel Embiid's career, waste a prime year. There's no way they do that. That's what I'm thinking, because I think you'd have to be nuts to not at least trade for anything anyone's offering at the deadline, because the bottom line isn't just who you get back. It's wasting the prime year of Joel Embiid. What I doubt they're thinking of is that Daryl Morey's thinking of it as, if I don't deliver on this trade, I'm only going to continue to waste years of Joel Embiid's prime. And if Tyrese Maxey keeps on stepping up, then this team's really going to have a shot at doing something if I make a couple of tweaks somewhere else. Question is whether or not he's going to have the money to do that. He could if he ends up trading somebody else, like a Tobias Harris. He trades somebody else. Unload some of the other stuff you have in here to try to bolster the bench a little bit more. But really, the only real trade chips that you have that I think are tangible or not plausible, I think he wants to hold on to Maxey. I think he wants to hold on to Thibault. Tobias Harris might be the guy that's out. Oh, it's a bad fit in Philadelphia. Maybe you try to sell that to another team. Lord knows Tobias Harris has had some good years on some other teams, most notably the LA Clippers. That's the way you could see it shaking out. Maybe that's the trade they end up making. But I think right now, I would love to see them trade Tobias. I would love to see them. Well, I would love to see them trade Tobias Harris. But more so, I'd love to see them trade Ben Simmons by the deadline if they get that offer back. He goes on to say in the story, John Hollinger of The Athletic, that Dame Lillard and Bradley Beal seem more unlikely. It's the first time I've seen unlikely attached to Bradley Beal's name in any trade discussion with Ben Simmons, but nonetheless, that's what Hollinger had to say. So Damian Lillard and Bradley Beal look like they are on the outs as far as the trade to Philadelphia goes, according to this story. Whether or not that's true or not, we will see as time goes on. And he starts talking about guys like De'Aaron Fox as more of a likely return on the investment of a Ben Simmons trade. So we'll continue to follow, continue to break it down. But the latest is from John Hollinger of The Athletic that the Sixers and GMs around the league are expecting the Sixers to make a trade for Ben Simmons or trade away Ben Simmons by the NBA trade deadline of this year. So, hey, here's the thing. Hopefully that happens, and then there's no more speculation. It's just the end. And the Sixers hopefully will be a better team after that going forward. It is a football Friday. Oh, no, wait, hold on. Before I even do that, Flyers, 3-2 loss last night in overtime. So the point streak continues to the team name, the Sharks, the San Jose Sharks. Cam Atkinson had a play right off the opening faceoff of the game where he got into the crease one-on-one and just let it go off his stick. Just didn't even get a shot off. Went to make a move, and as he made the move, the puck just said, "See ya," and just left. And then, I believe it was in the second period, the San Jose Sharks got the luckiest of lucky bounces that you'll ever see for a shorthanded goal against the Flyers. And from that point, I really didn't feel too good about their odds. Really, from the Cam Atkinson missed opportunity to lead things off. Flyers ended up taking a 1-0 lead in that first period. But after I saw that bounce in the second period that helped the Sharks tie things up at 1 goal apiece, that's where I was like, maybe it's not their night. Maybe it's not their night. Felix Sanderson, by the way, in net last night. A classic hockey name right there. But the Flyers, unfortunately, not able to win that one. And there you go. It's an unfortunate one. But the point streak continues and now extends to, what do we got, 6, 7? All right, 7 games. So there you go. Let's jump into this for a second here. The Eagles. We'll get into more with our friend John Barchard coming up in a second. But the Eagles, they play on Sunday. The Eagles have some interesting playoff scenarios. The bottom line is they control their own destiny after going up in the 7th seed right now in the NFC. And they went out. They're in the playoffs. That's how it works. The Washington football team, I hope that's what we saw last week, was the wheels coming off against the Dallas Cowboys. I do have a concern that the Washington football team isn't as terrible as 56-14. The Cowboys are a much better football team, pains me to say, than the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles have sputtered out of the gate over their last 2 games. The Eagles they scored 10 points late in the first half against the Washington football team, ended up taking care of business, which was great. The Eagles scored 3 points in the first half against the Giants last week, but still came back to win before they rattled up 31 second half points. So that's great. I'd love to see them take control of this game early and make it one of those games that Washington has to scramble to get in by the end of the game, similar to what we saw with the Eagles and the Saints earlier in the season, where the Saints just put up points in the fourth quarter and made it look like a game. I'd love to see that happen. Really, I'd love to see the Eagles shut them out, but I think more realistically speaking, I think that's more likely going to be the case, where the Eagles, I think, will control this game from jump, and then it'll look like a game late. But in case I am wrong here, imagine that. One thing I'm looking at with this game is how odd the Washington football team looks. And it's not a matter of, they're terrible. It's a matter of listening to Ron Rivera's press conference yesterday, talking about how Kyle Allen is going to play in this game, but they're going to have Taylor Heinicke play as well. Who is their quarterback? Is it Taylor Heinicke? Or is it going to be Kyle Allen? Are you keeping us guessing? Is this gamesmanship, Ron Rivera? Riverboat Ron? Is this gamesmanship? Washington doesn't even know what the hell they're doing. So when I look at the Eagles, the cautious optimist in me says there's no way Washington's that bad, but the Eagles can't lose this game. As we talked about with Jason Avant earlier in the week, when you look at the Eagles right now, they're a team that knows what's in front of them. They control their own destiny. This is what they have been playing for over the last yes, obviously the whole season, but this is what they've really been playing for over the last 8 weeks of the season. When you look at how they have played and the run that they have gone on, the fact that they were 2-5 and are now 6-2, that's a team that is trying to make that playoff push. That's a team that is trying to solidify their standings in the playoffs. And with the way the 49ers have played, it's not out of the realm of possibility to think about the Eagles as a 6th seed in the NFC. So let's hope that happens. Let's hope that Minnesota loses to the Green Bay Packers just to lighten things up between the Eagles a little bit more in the NFC in the playoff race. And let's also hope that Jalen Hurts can help this offense get jump-started out of the gate, because that's something that I think they really need to do. If this team is going to continue that push as they have been pushing so far over the last 8 weeks, it's going to have to start with Jalen Hurts. And it's not going to start with your running backs at this point, because you're looking at Kenny Gainwell, you're looking at Boston Scott, you're looking at Kerryon Johnson, for instance. That's your backfield right now. It's going to have to start with Jalen Hurts. If the Eagles come out passing like they did against the Giants, despite the success of their run game, it's going to go on Jalen Hurts' shoulders. And I'll tell you this much. For all the skepticism, for all the harsh critiques, if you will, of Jalen Hurts, my man John Barchard's got something coming up here that is the most optimistic thing that has ever been said about Jalen Hurts. And we'll get to that in just a second. But let me reiterate. Folks, as I said at the top of the show, by the end of this program today, make sure you have a drink ready. Whatever your drink of pleasure is, just make sure you have it ready. A little special thing I got for you guys. Nothing too elaborate, just a little send-off into the new year. But let me tell you about my good friend Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Yeah, it was New Year's Eve. 2016. I went to Steven Singer Jewelers, and I walked in. I had 90 minutes. I remember I was going to be a guest on Philly Sports Talk on NBC Sports Philadelphia, and I ran into Steven Singer Jewelers, and I said, so I'm getting engaged. It was the New Year's Eve. I'm getting engaged tomorrow night. I need a ring. Literally how it happened. Steven, come on in. Walked into Steven Singer, sat down, worked with a great sales associate that walked me through everything. And in 90 minutes, I walked away with a beautiful engagement ring for my wife. It was just that fast. I knew exactly what I wanted. True story. My wife sent me one picture. My girlfriend at the time sent me one picture. I said, I really like this ring. And that was like 4 years prior. And then 2 years later, she sent me another ring. And she's like, I like this one more. And I looked at that one. I was like, nah, she doesn't know what she's talking about. So I showed Steven Singer the rings, and he's like, yeah, she doesn't know. The second one, she doesn't want that one. She wants this one. And I'm like, you're damn right she does. So it's the princess cut, I think they call that. No, it's not. It's the cushion cut. Scusi. Cushion cut. And that's what I got for my wife from Steven Singer Jewelers. She absolutely loves it. She said that she wasn't going to go stupid when she looked at the ring. Oh, we engaged. I'm not going to be one of those girls that turns stupid when you look at the ring. And I looked at her and I go, turn stupid? Anyway, so she looks at the ring. She could barely give me an answer. She eventually said yes, and we got married. We got a kid, another on the way. That's all because of Steven Singer, really. It's not because I'm charming or anything like that. It's all because of Steven Singer. But it was 90 minutes. I went into Steven Singer, walked out with the ring that my wife will wear forever, and she'll love forever. And the best part about it is when you walk in there to Steven Singer, you get treated like family. You don't feel like you have to negotiate or haggle or anything like that. You know you're getting the perfect price every single time at Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price. Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut. The other corner of 8th and Walnut, right on Jewelers Row in Philadelphia. Without further ado, let's jump on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line and talk to our good friend, John Bartram, who's got a slew of things going on. He's still talking birds all the time, man. Love this guy. Let's jump on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line. Talk to our friend, John Bartram. Joining us right now on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line, my older radio buddy.
Hey,
John Barchard, ladies and gentlemen. Check out all the great stuff that he's doing right now. Look at this man right here. Bell and the Birdman podcast, Last Out Media. This man creates podcasts. This man creates content. This guy helps other people create their own content. You're doing it all, and most impressive, you're clean shaven now. What the hell happened?
well, a little bit. I mean, You're So Beautiful in the beard. I felt weird just coming on here. I was like, Should I shave? No, we need to be the two bearded guys. Marc, it's great to see it. By the way, still waiting for a show in a canoe. That was one of the best shows I think you've ever done. And like, I'm serious. Like, that, trust me, the audience members, don't you want to see Marc in a canoe again talking about Philadelphia sports? I do.
We briefly, and I appreciate that, we briefly did that when I was out in Colorado again for my wife's family reunion. I was in a kayak on my uncle-in-law's lake.
Nice. Okay,
because he has a lake. He's doing well in life. He has a lake.
Well, when you have an uncle-in-law, yes, I feel like that should be doing pretty well.
And he looks like Teddy Roosevelt. That's the most fun fact about him. But anyway, so I did that, but I want to let people know, because I did that show. That was like my first remote show, and quite frankly, my only so far. But I did that show, and I like hung up the phone to end the show because I was doing the whole thing on my iPhone. And I cast another reel, right? And boom, right away, call from John Barchard. Voice text, which I really appreciate, by the way. People that just leave a voicemail, you're wasting everyone's time.
Yeah.
But you send the voice text, and it's like the most complimentary, kind, you're the man, and I can't thank you enough for that. John literally sent me that as second we hung up with the show.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love that. Yeah, Farzy in the world. Like, you've done all that stuff already. I was like, that's a perfect spot for you. This is great.
Yeah, my listeners started calling it, and viewers started calling it Fishing with Farzy.
Fishing with Farzy, yes. I love it. I would, 5 days a week, sign me up for it. I'm in.
We'll get it sponsored by Bass Pro Shops.
And your uncle-in-law. Yeah, whatever it is.
And the Teddy Roosevelt lookalike. John, are we going to the playoffs? The Eagles going to the playoffs. Is that going to happen? Are we going to get involved there in that little postseason thing going on?
Hell yeah, they are. Want to know why? Washington's soft tanking. So, like, of course they're getting into the playoffs. I feel, don't you feel like no matter what, though, Washington could have Russell Wilson out there, or Tom Brady, or whatever it is, or the worst quarterback on earth, which I think, they have a collection of those going as well. But you're going to shoot themselves in the Washington is going to kind of like a game. They'll escape in the fourth quarter. They need a quarterback and a whole bunch of other help. I mean, they're like 8th or 9th, I think, in the drafting order right now. Why on earth would you win this game? There's no reason to. There's 12 other hungry quarterback teams behind you that desperately want to get ahead of you. So call me crazy, and they owe the Philadelphia Eagles one anyway, but they should slide right into, losing and make Joe Judge upset again and let Jalen Hurts just take care of his first playoff experience. But either way, even if they're not doing that, I just feel like you're not going to be able to stop this semi-momentum that the Eagles have here. So I feel pretty confident about Sunday.
Oh, I love that. My only reservation is that they just got blown out. They got the shot of them fighting on the sidelines, Jonathan Taylor and all that stuff. Like, things are so bad right now with Washington. I always think of the Andy Reid line. You're never as good as you think. You're never as bad as you think. And are the Washington football players, are they, it's the first time I ever referred to them as that.
Yeah.
It's the way the sentence went. But are they really that bad?
They never really are. I guess that's kind of what they have always been. If this muck of talent that can never really fly straight or never have any kind of chemistry, nothing like that. I mean, Payne and Allen fighting on the sideline. I know everybody's going like, "Oh wow, well they'll turn that around next week." Why? They hate each other. They want to be done with all this stuff. They just got most of their roster back, and they're not really fighting for much of anything. And I know everybody's going, well, the Vikings just have to lose, and their playoff hopes aren't really that far-fetched either because they're in the middle of this. But, man, I think that's more of a white flag, we're done, as opposed to we got to turn this thing around, and we're going to fight for one another next week. And 56-7, blah blah blah, and all the. I just don't see that. I know that's been a very popular phrase, but I don't see it at all. This team's ready to be done, and I'm ready to send them home to do so. Yeah,
I'm buying what you're selling, my friend. I'm buying what you're selling. If you could you take me through your evolution of your evaluation of Nick Sirianni from introductory press conference to right now?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of going, well, here's another press conference that everyone's getting up in arms about, and that seems about on par and fair, by the way, because it's part of the job. So everybody gets called a boomer for making fun of the guy at the press conference. It's command the room, So we're a little hesitant and shaky to begin with anyway. I kind of did it the same way as Doug Peterson. I didn't have too many opinions on him coming in either. Did I call for his job in the middle of the season? Yes, I did. Absolutely, I did. But that was before I knew that Shane Steichen's the one that's actually, calling the plays here. So we've moved on to him. I'm on the big fire him and get Joe Brady in here campaign. And I kind of like how the Eagles have done this, to be honest with you. Like, I understand Nick Sirianni's value completely. He's managing the game. Can you remember a time where Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman have agreed on, like, let's hire a coach that doesn't have a thing, like an offense? Chip Kelly did this, Andy Reid did this. Nick Sirianni is just a guy who's doing Mike McCarthy's job, who's managing all the talent that he hired, which I'm going, wow, that's fascinating. So at the end of the day, I don't know what Nick Sirianni is. I don't know what he does, and I'm not sure which directions he pushes and pulls. To me, honestly, this is a combination of Shane Steichen and Jeff Stoutland doing their jobs. Shane Steichen was like very run heavy in LA and everywhere he's kind of gone, so I get it. But like, my biggest questions out of this to you, Marc, are why aren't we giving the same credit to Jonathan Gannon? Because he's doing the exact same thing that Nick Sirianni is, playing bad teams, doing their job, and listening to their players, essentially. So I think they've done just fine, but like, I'm not juiced up as everybody else is. I don't think. What about you?
About Nick Sirianni himself?
Yeah, about either coordinator. Yeah, either guy.
Well, see, here's why I would be more juiced up, love the term, about Nick Sirianni as opposed to Jonathan Gannon. I see Jonathan Gannon really doing the same stuff. I mean, I've seen a little bit more aggression really since, I think it was the LA Chargers game where they blitzed more than they had all season long. They didn't get home, but they blitzed more than they ever did all season. They've been doing a little bit more of that. You saw that again this past week against the Giants. But in that game one against the Giants, Daniel Jones, they barely were aggressive. And Daniel Jones is certainly a guy you could force into mistakes. But the greatest glaring adjustment I've seen is going to the run game. I mean, let's not forget, you had we were just talking about this the other day. We had 2 run plays to a running back. We watched that happen with the Eagles against the Cowboys in week 3. So you handed the ball to a running back twice. Like, even Andy Reid was like, I think you should run the ball.
Yeah, that's like, a little light.
Yeah, it's a little light. And since then, they've been one of the best teams in football. Not since the Dallas game, but over the last 8 weeks when they really committed to the run. They're 6-2 in their last 8 games all of a sudden. So once they change that, go from 2-5 to 6-2, they have seemed like a different team. And I think that goes mostly as to why I'd be juiced up about Nick Sirianni going forward.
Well, and I respect that completely. But at the same time, how hard is that? How hard is it to look at this offense and be like, well, the quarterback can't throw so well right now. Don't have that great wide receiver options. Dallas Goedert somehow drops balls in the first quarter and forces weird turnovers. Hey, Jeff Stoutland's our most experienced guy here. Offensive line's the best part of it. Okay, let's run the football. Like, going, of course. And it's working against bad teams. The defense is playing against, really bad quarterbacks, including 3-headed monsters like Mike Glennon, Jake Fromm, and Daniel Jones from back-to-back weeks. And by the way, they ended up losing one of those. But I don't know. I just think it's Nick Sirianni has the younger guys, so you're going to hear more positive stuff about it. And Jonathan Gannon, who's got to deal with Fletcher Cox literally saying, trade me or him. And the rest of there is no young player on the defense. It's all veterans, right? Like, except for Milton Williams and maybe like the linebacker. So
yeah, right.
I don't know. In a playoff run and getting juiced up, consider me still very skeptical of the one Nick Sirianni and Jonathan Gannon. I'd like to see more in how they process through the next few games here. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. What about your evolution of evaluation when it comes to Jalen Hurts? The hot button issue of the season.
I don't want to toot my own horn here, but I feel like I'm the original Jalen Hurts fan in the city of Philadelphia. Now, there might have been the 4-hour freak out that everyone experienced when he was drafted, but past that, I've been Jalen Hurts' #1 fan, even when Carson Wentz was doing the "how could you do this to me" routine, which is hilarious in retrospect now. But I've been fighting with my good friend Vince Quinn for a very long time because he wants Russell Wilson in here so badly, and I get it. And I won't be upset if Russell Wilson's here. We shouldn't be. But Jalen Hurts is going to get there, and he's already proven that. But to me, this guy you can't bet against. He's every time that you say, well, he's not going to do this. A couple of games later, he's got it. Well, he's not going to sit in the pocket a little better. His pocket presence isn't. His footwork can't improve. Oh, wow. Okay. Maybe the ankle was that bad, and so on and so forth. I mean, the teammates love him. When Lane Johnson loves somebody, don't let them go. That's my rule. And if that's okay with Lane and the rest of the offensive line and they want to go to war with him and you feel as though you can keep developing that passing game, I'm in love with Jalen Hurts. I don't want him to go anywhere. And even if Russell's here, even if they do go that route, you cannot trade him. You have to keep him here. I mean, like the same thing with, in a smaller scale, the same reason why you have Gardner Minshew here under $1 million in a 6th-round pick. Keep developing. The NFL constantly is throwing these people out. Stop doing that. Unless you're getting riches and spoils back, Jalen Hurts can win you a Super Bowl. And that's not a mistake. That's not a misquote. He can win you a Super Bowl. You've just got to allow him to grow and do those things. I believe he could probably put them there in a year and a half, 2 years, whatever it is. That's how dedicated he is to being better all of the time. Up here, and don't you agree that between the pressure cooker of everyone talking about him and this, he is just, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And hasn't phased him once, at least not in public form. So that's good enough for me.
No, I love everything you're saying. I agree with everything you're saying. The Super Bowl, do I think he could? Hey, he's off to a great start as far as I'm concerned. He's got this team in playoff contention, playoff positioning right now. Mm-hmm. He's in Pro Bowl consideration as a first-year starter. That's not a bad couple of boxes to check. And yes, I am rooting so hard for him to be that guy because he is there at everything else between the ears. Even with the Sean Watson stuff going on, all he says is he's above it all. He meets with Jeff Stoutland. He meets with Jason Kelsey. He's trying to glom information from everybody, which is why I like this guy so much. And obviously his work ethic. So, yeah, I'm there. I hope he is that guy. I know you're a man for all season, so I want to ask you one more thing. Ben Simmons, what are we getting? And when are we getting it? You got the answers.
They're under this table. You know what it says? Pain, and wait it out. And listen, there is, if I may shout out somebody that I dearly love, shout out the You Know Ball podcast, the good friend Trill Bro Dude, who has been saying and floating out soft tank for a long time there as well. And it's kind of the perfect time to do it. Everyone kind of forgets again. Then you can really resell Ben Simmons. I'm willing to wait. I'm willing to pass off this entire year if that means that you can kind of recoup, though. But as I say that, I feel terrible for Joel Embiid even thinking that way. Congratulations, Sam Hinkie. You're still in my brain always. Thank you. You need to get that man somewhere close to past the second round, though. All right. I don't know. What do you think's going to happen? I'm in for the long haul.
Yeah, I am almost as dug in as Daryl Morey, who I do legit think would wait 4 years just to mess with Ben Simmons. But I'm not far off. And by the way, I do want to say I love the idea of soft tank. It's like tanking, but just apps. You know what I mean? It's just appetizers, the little light on the bar. I love it.
Yeah, it's just poppers. It's no big deal. It's not. Don't get carried away, It's not a charcuterie board, for Christ's sake. It's just,
poppers and mott sticks. You, my friend, I am so happy for you because it was 2.5 years ago that I became a father. You became a father. Congratulations to you. It's the greatest. I like to say it's the most fun you'll ever have the most joy you'll ever experience while having zero fun.
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly what's going on right now because my brain is mush, and it is evident because I thought Nate Sudfeld was on the Washington football team. It's just like the baby brain is in full effect, and I love it. And I'm just sitting this is the first time that I'm experiencing literally little to no sleep at any point in time, and my brain like a dragon pops out and then it goes away. I'm like, oh, that's just the milk, whoops, so it's. We're in that mode, and I couldn't be happier because she's just about to crawl. She's starting to say words. She really is a perfect baby. She just is like, I'm ready to sleep now. Bang, she's out. She doesn't complain much, and her mother is incredible. So we're all good here, man. And being a father rocks, doesn't it?
It really does.
It's really great. Yeah.
My daughter talks a little too much politics, so she's not perfect, but she's close. No, it's the greatest thing. And last question I have to ask you, have you ever driven back from Pittsburgh in under 3.5 hours?
Listen, you little son of a bitch. I still don't believe you. This man says he can drive from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh in under 4 hours.
I showed you
and
the
it is
screen grab.
not. How fast do you drive?
I tickle 90. And I hug the turns. I told you, it's all about hugging the turns in the middle of the night.
That means 105, so now I get it. Like, you don't want people trailing you, so that makes sense. But my God, hat tip to you, because the ball doesn't lie. He showed me that, and I just couldn't. I just go, as a man who traveled back and forth to Pittsburgh way too much, by the way. I could never get a 4:05 was like my best time. I thought, man, there's no way.
Bro, toe to toe. Ladies and gentlemen, his name is John Barchard. Make sure you check out all the content this man creates. Everything he does is fantastic. Bell and the Birdman podcast, Last Out Media. If you're looking to start a podcast yourself, this is a great guy to talk to, because I believe he says, yes, you should start a podcast. That's the answer. It's right there.
Yes, always, especially if you're a business. And by the way, dude, I'm so happy you're doing the things you're doing, like the independent creators, where we are now, and just reading the room and going, yeah, we can just do this because we're all television and radio now. This is everyone's waking up to it, and businesses, good Lord, please get into the game too, because they're not helping you anymore. Create content for yourself, sponsor yourself, and create content. Come see me if you don't do that. And Marc, just awesome, man. Keep doing this. The studio looks better and better too. So
thank you. This is totally real brick. I did the mortar myself. John, great catching up, brother. Thanks so much, and congratulations to you, not just being a father, but your professional success as well, my friend. Thanks so much.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon. Go
Definitely.
Birds.
Go Birds. The great John Bartram joining us here on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line. Now, some people might say, piping hot take. You can win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts. Okay, I understand how that might be your knee-jerk reaction. Let me just say, you could. You could win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts. And anybody that looks at that and goes, piping hot take, whatever. Folks, we won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles and as our quarterback of our football team. That happened. Stranger things have happened. A slew of backups, a Hall of Fame left tackle not playing. Halapulavati Vaitai, remember that name? He was your left tackle. That team won a Super Bowl against Tom friggin' Brady. If they can do it, why can't you do it with Jalen Hurts? Why not? It could happen. It could. You can't mathematically tell me it's impossible. And I'm rooting for it. I am here for it. I'm hoping it happens. I'm absolutely hoping that happens, because it's the same thing I always tell you guys. You always want to believe, or it's always better to have the quarterback of the future on your roster right now than it is to, we got to go get that guy. And one of the things I always see in the comments after the show, most notably after the show, is why doesn't Jalen Hurts get time? And a lot of people will say that to the Jason Avant interview that we did, where every other quarterback gets 3 to 4 years to improve. Why can't Jalen Hurts? Because Jalen Hurts wasn't drafted to be the guy. And I know that shouldn't matter, but it does. Because when you take someone with a top 5 pick, or even a second pick like Carson Wentz, for instance, when you draft someone to be the guy, you want to show everyone that you're right. If you didn't draft him to be the guy, if you drafted him to be a backup, then that's all you really see him as, which is unfortunate, because the guy can't break the glass ceiling, so to speak, and break through it and all of a sudden become the franchise quarterback in their eyes. Jalen Hurts will do that. He will change their minds if he has a deep playoff run. And one of the things that we also got into with Jason Avant was some people were talking about how Jason Avant, his prediction from months ago has changed. And it hasn't. His opinion is the same. His prediction, though, is that the Eagles don't see Jalen Hurts as the future. His prediction is Jalen Hurts won't do enough, which is all pretty much a deep playoff run, which I don't see happening either. But he won't do enough to change the Eagles' minds. That's basically the prediction that he's making. His opinion of Jalen Hurts hasn't changed, but his prediction as to what the Eagles are going to do with him is different than his opinion. Does that make sense to you? He wants Jalen Hurts to do well. He thinks Jalen Hurts will do well, but not well enough for the Eagles to ignore everybody else. That's how Jason Devon sees it, and I agree. And then we talked to John Barchard today, and John says that the Eagles could win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts. I am here for it, and I don't disagree. And I'm not labeling it some piping hot take. If we could watch this team win a Super Bowl with Nick Foles, we could watch them win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts. That, of course, was that line is always brought to you by Rothman Orthopaedics. When you have an orthopedic issue, you need a physician who eats, sleeps, and breathes orthopedics. You need an exceptionally specialized Rothman Orthopaedics physician. They not only specialize in orthopedics, but each of their physicians only focuses in on one area of the body, which means you can have the confidence to get past the pain and be what you were. Visit them in one of their 30-plus locations in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, including 4 orthopedic-only urgent cares. Learn more at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. How about the people at BetQL? If you want to get the advantage over your sportsbook, you got to download the BetQL app, the only app you'll need to make the smart bets. Their best bets computer model scans everything from 350,000 unique bets per year to give you the best bet recommendation for every game across all major sports. And they give you the reasoning behind why you should place that bet. Their model covers everything from point spreads, over-unders, player props, bets, all that stuff. If you don't want to use their model and prefer to do your own research yourself, BetQL has all the necessary tools for your betting research needs. Everything from sharp data, line movement, everything that you need to make the sharp bets, you use BetQL. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store now and use the BetQL app. How about our great friends at PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience. And while you're watching all the games, bowl games going on, all this crazy stuff, make sure you're doing it all with the WinView app, the only app you'll need, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to making bets with your friends and challenging your friends and family members to see who really knows more about sports. They talk a lot of crap. They got championship games going on this weekend in fantasy sports. Things aren't going your way. Challenge your friend to a WinView contest. See if you get a little bit instant gratification. See if they can walk the walk as well as they talk the talk. If you want to break up the monotony of family dinners and get-togethers, play a little quarter of football on Sunday. Play some college games. We'll talk about it in a second. You're tracking games on Sunday. See where you're at right now. You can win real money prizes for making predictions on the games that you love. It's not a sports book. It's not daily fantasy. It's a social gaming app where fans can take on other fans. All right, let's jump into everybody's favorite part of the show when we talk a little chat check, ladies and gentlemen. See a lot of people chiming in the very early goings of the show. Much appreciated on this New Year's Eve day. Let's start it off at the top. April, hello. Sushi, hello. Dan. Dan's back with us. What's going on? Wait, John does not have a Farzy show poster in the back. Oh, I'm an idiot. Never mind. There you are, Dan. Okay. All right. Yeah. No, a lot of people think this is a green screen, by the way. It's not. One of these days, I'm going to have a bakery make this into a cookie, and I'm just going to peel it off the wall and take a bite. There. I'm touching it. You can see it. Anyway, see if that plays off well. I'll just rip it off, put it back. You know. There you go. What else do we have? John Cheeseborough. What's up, JC? Nice to see you. Soft tanking. You got to love a soft tank. Just apps. Poppers and mott sticks. You know, it's all you need. Dan, John, Dan, go in the corner for thinking that sign was actually in John Barchard's house. Part of the issue with the opening presser. I'm long. Oh, just Howard, you're just saying that part of the problem was his opening presser. I mean, I don't disagree. I remember, and I thought this take was lazy. I remember when that presser happened with Nick Sirianni, people were like, oh, well, Doug Peterson, look at him in press conferences. And it's like, that couldn't be further from the truth. I was blown away when Doug Peterson was introduced as the Eagles head coach and he had that press conference. He commanded the room. And I'm like, who the hell's this guy? This guy is not at all the same guy that was here just to teach Donovan McNabb the West Coast offense. Because if you remember, Doug Peterson, when he was doing interviews back in the day, I'm not here to win. I'm here to help coach and help Donovan learn how the West Coast offense works. And it was like, I'm not here to win? Who the hell says that? And then years later, Doug Peterson is introduced as the head coach. And this guy is like commanding the room. He's talking about determination. He's talking about what it takes to win. And I'm like, this is a different guy. This is a much different guy. Who's this guy? Who connect the old guy? This is a new guy. This is amazing. And he was the perfect guy to come in after Chip Kelly for many, 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 many reasons. And then Nick Sirianni takes over, and he gets named as the head coach. And I've done my homage to Nick Sirianni's opening press conference. Am I good? Am I good? Howie, I think Carson Wentz is our quarterback. Carson Wentz is our quarterback. How? Do I have something on my face? Are you just messing with me? Howie. It was a bad press conference. And he has, and this is what I was waiting for. I was waiting to see him in his natural habitat. His natural habitat is not a podium. It's not a microphone. It's a locker room. It's a football field. He has looked a lot better, especially over the last 8 weeks in that habitat, which is much better to see. But yes, I agree, Howard. A lot of people will look at that opening press conference and go, not this guy. He was like the first attorney from My Cousin Vinny. You're fired. I want him. Howard, that is the greatest analogy I've seen in a long time. That is a great analogy. What? You got James Seltzer in here? Not in the chat. Dan's referencing James Seltzer. He does have a picture of James Seltzer with a halo above his head. I saw it in the unedited version. Back to the corner I go. Oh, my God. James is a great guy. I love James. I saw James, as a matter of fact, like 2 weeks before the world ended. It was like the most coronavirus. It was like the worst thing you could have done right before coronavirus. There was a video game competition. I think the Union were hosting it. And it was before, I think it was right before coronavirus was actually like detected in America. And it was a video game competition where we were all sharing like the same remote control. And we were all shaking hands, hugging. It was like, it was life, man. It was the old normal. And then it was like, by the way, don't touch anything someone just touched. What? I was just at this event. Anyway, I ended up beating Philly's ball girl in FIFA. Anyway, I'm very proud of that. A+, there you go, Benny. A+ reference, Howard. Absolutely. Too good, Julian says. Good morning, Julian. Sean, good morning. Sushi, hello again. John, hello again. Benny, hello again. Let's see what else we got here. April, hello. Over under Farzy has 4.5 kids. Not happening. Not happening. Thank you though, Matt. Appreciate it. I love, hey, look, man, I come from a ginormous family. I feel like I have to do my part. You know what I'm saying? Like people were asking me the second time around, they were like, so you have a girl, do you want a boy? And I'm like, yes. I'm like, yes, I want a boy. My last name's Farzetta. There's like 12 of us on the planet, including like 4 Farzettas in Argentina. That's actually a crazy story. My great-grandfather and my great-great-uncle, I guess, they walked down the steps of their house in Calabria, Italy, and they hugged each other, and they were like, see you never. And my great-grandfather came to Ambler. My great-great-uncle went to Argentina. And the rest is history. So one day I'll go to Argentina, and I'll hang out with, some cousins, I guess. Yeah, I got a huge, ginormous family. And people were like, do you want a boy? And I'm like, hell yeah. Got to make more Farzettas. Come on. April, a few of that first month or so after bringing the kid home was a total blur. I don't remember any of it. That is so true. For any of you guys that are about to have a kid, it is a blur. And let me speak to the dads for a second. One of my favorite things is like when your wife's just about due or your girl's just about due, and people are like, "Oh, get ready, you don't matter." They're like looking at the dude, the guy, like, "Oh, well, you don't matter." My reaction to that was, "Oh, so I can leave? Like she's got this? I can just take off." Fellas, you got to be that woman's rock, because your brain might be mush. Hers is hoping to get to a solid part that can even be identifiable as mush. Like that is like, you have to be there, man. You have really got to be there. Your brain scattered. Her brain is like non-existent, and it's no fault of hers. It's biology. She's got no power over it, especially if you're like my wife and you're used to 9 full hours of sleep every night and a very regimented life. I remember looking at my wife and being like, she has no idea what to do on 2 hours of sleep. I know 2 hours of sleep for me means 3 espressos. She's like, Not to mention her body going through all the changes. So, fellas, practice this phrase. Ready? Whatever you need, babe. That's it. Whatever you need, babe. Your mother wants to move in with us for like 10 months. Whatever you need, babe. Whatever. That was my, honey, I don't like the paint in this room anymore. Could you paint this room a different color? Sure, honey. What color do you want it? Fire engine red. Yeah, whatever you need, babe. Just go along with it, fellas. When it comes to the world of picking battles, 3 months off. Take 3 months off from picking any battle. That's my best recommendation for you. But you got to be that rock. You got to be that rock. Howard Sealski brought this on himself. Oh, is Howard just learning of the Sealski hate? Yeah, it's a rule. I don't know how it started, but it started a long time ago, where all of a sudden the chat just started. I think it started because I mentioned that Flyers people hate Mike Sealski, and then that just started it out of control. And I don't have the clip loaded anymore, but we have Sealski responding to it, and he's just telling you he's not an animal. Dan, thank you. BDN is a national treasure. April, you're exactly right. Alex, good morning. How are you? Inside the Birds, what's popping? John Cheeseborough, I like this. Don't get me wrong, I'd love if the Eagles got Russell Wilson, but if it's not and it's Hurts going forward, roll with it. There you go. Alex, hello again. Josh Rosen, Tua, it happens. Timeline, sorry, kid. New timeline, sorry, kids. What the hell? Wow, sorry, kids. Drop the mic. I like that, Vince. Jason Avant got people in their feels. Yeah, if you read the comments, man, Jason Avant, you know who did comment on it? Our friend Susan. She commented. Yeah. Alex, I'm not going to blame anyone for COVID, but I do recall Farzy getting married in Italy. It is a fact that COVID came after that. Chronology. Yeah, chronologically speaking, you're right. My wife and I have had that conversation many times, though. Like, could you imagine if we waited 2 more years to get married and buy a house, how much more difficult that would have been? Have a kid? How much more difficult that would have been in the midst of like pandemic? Man, I'll tell you, I've told this story I think 1,000 times on the radio, but I haven't mentioned on this show. Italy, I got friends over there in Italy that I keep in touch with, and man, when coronavirus happened, it was like hold your breath. It was like we were 2 weeks after Italy, I think, like the big wave, the first initial big wave, and I remember my friends over there were like posting pictures outside bars, like basically in Italian, coronavirus can, well, just kiss my ass. We'll just say that. And it was like 2 weeks later, they were in quarantine, strict quarantine. And it's just insane to go back and look at some of those exchanges I've had with them over there. And then us go through it over here as well. April, amen, Mark, good man. I'm just letting you know. I hate when people in two things. One is you don't matter. You're the guy. You don't matter. No, you matter. Believe me. I can just I'm going to go play golf then. Can I go play golf? Okay, cool. And the other is the wait till people. The wait till people. If you talk to anyone who has kids older than your kids, oh God, the wait till drives me crazy. Like my kid loves just throwing her milk. She'll just throw her milk for no reason. And I make her I make her go over there and pick it up. And not only that, if it spills, I make her clean it up. I'm not kidding with you. This is what I do with my 2.5-year-old. Okay. Oh, you spilled your milk. Well, I guess you don't get any milk. You want to throw a temper tantrum? All right. She literally, I will hand her a paper towel and she will go clean it up. And then like, I'll argue with people. I won't argue with people because that's just stupid. But it's like when people are like, oh, she's throwing that temper tantrum now. Oh, wait till she's 5. Why would I wait till she's 5? Why? Oh, wait till they do this. And always the thought that runs through my mind whenever I get a wait till person, they're always like, wait till. And I'm like, oh, maybe you're just a terrible parent. Oh, but you can't say that. It's against the rules. You can't say that. All right, that's enough of parenting. I don't know why I found that so funny. Now it's at least COVID first started. It was scary. Michael, what the? All right, guys, we're going down a path here. Kind of true. Why wait? Teacher to fix it now. You're damn right. Sal, I love my daughter. My son, not so much. Appreciate that. Guys, appreciate everyone that commented in the chat. You guys are fantastic. That was our chat check. Let's roll right now. Oh, Tim, hello, welcome in. Ben Timmons, what's up, buddy? Thanks everybody in the chat for participating as per usual. You guys are fantastic. Thank you. Let's get into our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, skymotorcars.com. Eagles, 3.5-point road favorites. They're minus 3.5 against Washington football team. I say take that action. I like it. I'm going to take that action on Sunday. I might even jump in right now and make sure I get it at 3.5. Cincinnati versus Bama, Georgia versus Michigan. Cincinnati, Bama plays earlier today, 3:30 in the college football playoffs. Then 7:30, Georgia at Michigan, Cincinnati and Bama. Bama right now is at minus 14-point favorites. I got him at 13.5, so a half point hopefully doesn't really make that much of a difference, but I did bet Bama to cover that. So I like Bama covering tonight. Michigan, I at least like covering at 7.5. I know nothing about college football. Let me stress this. Do not go by me. However, I do really like Bama. I really like, and I kind of like Michigan at plus 7.5 if they don't win outright, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I got for you. Sixers, they play Monday against Houston, so they got some time off. Tobias Harris, last time he had a couple of days off there, he got 25 points against the Boston Celtics. Joel Embiid got 41, so no one talked about Tobias Harris' 25. But hopefully that is the layoff that he'll need to get it going. Sixers have won 4 of 5, so that's interesting and that's fun. Flyers, 10:30 puck drop tomorrow night at the LA Kings. They have a 7-game point streak, so hopefully that keeps on going. Is that a lock, Farzy? Go Michigan. Oh, God, no. That's not a lock. Oh, wait, at Bama? I'm not locking that in. I don't know enough about college football to lock that in, but I know enough to put down more than a couple of bucks on Bama. So that's what I'm doing. So there you go. That was our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, skymotorcars.com. Do you have a drink ready, folks? Do you have a drink? Let's see here. Where's my cup? This is just ice. It's not like I'm making some kind of martini. It is New Year's after all, folks. And it's been an awesome year. It really has. And it's been an awesome year for so many reasons. Mainly because you guys are awesome. And my staff that I get to work with every day here on the Farzy Show, they're awesome too. Jim Hyden, who produces the program, does a wonderful job. Jim. Josh Weinfeld, Buzz Sports and Entertainment. Brendan, Billy, Ellis, you guys work in our social media. All the guests that we've had throughout the year. All the sponsors that we've had. We're coming up with 10 months of the Farzy Show here. Actually, no, 11 months of the Farzy Show. Our first show was February 1st. So how about that? Right before the Super Bowl. It's been so much fun doing this show for you guys. Getting up, just talking sports with you, having the content available for consumption throughout the day, all the fun memories we've had on this show, still doing Farzy in the field, still basically getting to talk about sports and paying my mortgage. That's a fun little way to do it. But in all seriousness, I can't thank you guys enough for all the stuff that you guys have done for me. I told you guys before Christmas, let me know I still had an audience. It was fantastic. That damn Marc Zumoff convincing me to do this. Zoom off. And I've just had so much fun doing it. I said at the start of the show that back in February that if I could somehow combine the fun I had in radio with the fun I had while doing like 700 level show for NBC or Philly Sports Talk, then it was going to be a fun run. And so far, it has been a lot of fun. And I don't see that fun stopping anytime soon. This is my job. I look at this as my job. I have a job. I love this job. And you guys make it so much fun. The people in the chat, Jim, Josh, Brendan, Billy, everyone that has helped us here, Ellis, really appreciate it. So this is to you guys. This is to you guys. And this is a bastardized version of Frank Sinatra quote. I wish you everything you want in life for your friends and your family. Lots of hugging and kissing and sweet dreams. Salute. Happy New Year, everybody. And now I'm just going to sit here and drink. And I'm going to read some chat comments. How about that? Let's end it with you can ask me anything. I'll take a couple of questions here. Open it up to questions. A few more, guys. This better be your job. Dan, you're absolutely right. Oh, we got people drinking. What time is it? 7:05 in the morning? New Year's comes early, folks. Tim, Happy New Year's. April, thank you. You're awesome. Salud. Tim, cheers to you. Cheers, Farzy. Ben Timmons, cheers to you. Cheers, everybody. Happy New Year. John Cheeseborough, Happy New Year. Farzy, you're growing? I'm growing. Farzy, read the mild inconveniences. Wait, did I miss those? All right. Mac, Farzy, if your wife goes for a divorce, she shows this to judge. As my husband has a drinking problem, he drinks at 7 a.m. Joke's on you, Judge. This is just iced tea. I missed all of them. Oh, you know what? I had to reset. Let me see here. I had to reset my chat because my Surface crapped out on me. It helps when you plug it in. I think that's what happened. I missed a lot of the chat. You're right, I did. I apologize. Can you give me one mild inconvenience? Give me one mild inconvenience. I can't go back and get them, unfortunately. I don't know why. Jim, do you know how I can do that? Happy New Year, PJ. That's really nice. I'm trying to. I want to go back. Happy New Year. Here's the continued climate breakdown and weather getting a bit more crazy each year. Thank you, Big Oil. I'll drink to that. Nice piece of refreshing ice right there. Been a great 11 months. I hope Mike Sealski gets jury duty. What the hell? Okay. What else we got going on here? Let me bring my friend Jack back. There we go. Ring-a-ding-ding, baby. Come on, Jim. These were gold. No, Jim, I want to make it clear. Jim didn't do anything to lose them. I lost them. I'm the idiot. Okay. I hope Mike Sealski gets a case for his phone and it doesn't fit. I hope Mike Sealski puts a screen protector on his phone and it's nothing but air bubbles. I hope Mike Sealski oh my God, that is great. I hope Sealski gets a case for his phone. It doesn't fit. Okay, so some of these are, wow, a lot of the ones stuck out to Mike that also stuck out to PJ. Are you guys the same person? JC, these are fantastic. These were gold. They are gold. Wow, PJ all over it, says Dan. Haymaker from PJ. Oh, this is great. I don't know how I missed these. My apologies. Here I go, ending the show, appreciating the hell out of the chat. And then I can't see some of the better chat things. Michael Shane is hitting up Dan Schwartz saying, just did a bump. Morning rush. Holy hell. Yeah. Oh, we all have our vices, I guess. Mike Sealski gets new wet socks. Oh, Mike Sealski gets wet socks on New Year's. There you go. So basically, we're just ripping Sealski again. Anyway, thanks again to everybody in the chat, and thanks for making this show so much damn fun. Seriously. My thanks to Jack and Coke. Not a Jack and... I see Jack and Coke, and then I see new meaning. Yeah. Even the producer hates Sealski, says Mike Johnson. Everyone, thank you again. In all seriousness, much appreciated. Thanks for everything. I hope you guys have a happy, healthy, and safe New Year. I'll end it one more time. I wish you everything in one life for your friends and your family. That's a hug and a kiss and then sweet joy. Salud. From the Steven Singer Studios, I'm Marc Farzetta. See you next year. See you guys.